when you were growing up, I figure every big game you were, acting like you were playing, you were a Dodger. What's it like playing all these postseason series against the Dodgers?
It's definitely I don't know, tad nostalgic of just being able to look back and it's obviously the team I was rooting for growing up, but at this point in my career, I'm pretty settled in with the Braves. It's team I've been with the longest in my professional career, and definitely being able to make my debut here and kind of just experience everything that I have. My connection to the Braves right now is just as strong.
Max, I mean, you've obviously pitched against them now. On this stage, you're familiar with a lot of their guys. I mean, how can that familiarity come into play?
It can work for you and against you. You obviously know what you've done in the past, but they've also seen you a couple times too. So it's at the end of the day, kind of like what I said before. It's really about execution and just going out there and laying it out on the line. There's no secrets. We know each other well enough by now, and it's just going to go out there and just handle it between the lines.
Can you describe the scene for us last night? Was there like a watch party where you guys all separately watching a group text or something when you saw the reaction that the Dodgers won, and then now that you have home field advantage, what was the team's reaction?
It was just mostly on standby because we're waiting up and until 12:30, 1 o'clock to see if we're going to be staying here or having to hop on a plane and head to San Francisco. So no watch party or anything like that. Just kind of watching the game, just trying to see where we were going to play and who we were going to play.
Max, Charlie started game one of the first series. You start game one of this. Have you been able? I mean, you've pitched in enough of these games yourself now, but have you ever been able to learn anything just watching Charlie, how he prepares for these big games that maybe you didn't know?
He makes you realize that it's the same thing. The way that you prepare for a normal regular season game, with the importance of every single one of those games, is just as important as one of these. So if you handle that with the same preparation that you would a playoff game, it's kind of all the same. So you got to realize that the game is the same out there. Obviously the intensity and the pressure might be a little bit more, but it's still baseball. So you just got to go out there, stay within yourself, not give into the situation, and just make pitches.
You guys have had 3 days rest to get ready for this, and obviously they're having the quick turnover, then the travel. Mm-hmm. Dave Roberts said last night that the plan was for Scherzer to still go game one despite pitching out of the bullpen. What is this advantage for you guys in terms of the rest and especially in terms of the starting pitcher, small rest?
I'm not sure about with the Scherzer. I mean, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball, so it wouldn't surprise me for him to come out and be ready, and you expect it from that kind of guy. So if he takes them out, he's going to give everything he's got, and he's going to be one of the better pitchers out there. So for us, it was fortunate that we didn't have to go do a ton of travel, but they just played a really good series against a really good team, and they've been playing some really good, intense baseball. So they're going to be ready for the atmosphere, and obviously, the team's been to the playoffs for however many straight years and multiple World Series, so the stage isn't going to faze them. They know what they need to do to be able to win these types of games, and obviously we've been in the playoffs for a couple of years now, and we understand what it takes too. So I think it's going to be a really good, hard-fought series.
Do you guys see it as, since there is this playoff history between you guys as well, do you see it as what everyone's calling a revenge game or revenge series? I mean, are you guys motivated, extra motivated this series? Not that you weren't before, but with the history?
I think we would have been just as motivated if it was the Giants or the Dodgers. I think when you get to this point of the year, it's every team has one goal, and that's to get to the World Series and win it. So you got to worry about one game at a time, and you're not going to be able to get there unless you get through this round. So we don't want to look too far ahead. Just focus on game one, and then obviously each game after that.
We know what the slider did for you in 2019 and beyond. Do you think a bigger step might have been taking that, being more willing to not chase strikeouts, but pitch to contact?
Yeah, I think it's just the development of who I am as a pitcher. You can kind of try to throw the perfect pitch, whatever you want to do, but these are really good hitters, and if you try to strike everyone out, you can draw your pitch count up and kind of turn into walks and things like that. That at this time of year you can't give another team the luxury of or give them any kind of benefit. So, I think if you just go after guys and you give them your best stuff, and for me, it's a lot easier to be able to, handle those situations, knowing, with that mentality and that kind of. I would just say, it's tough because you want to go after strikeouts, especially in those situations, but just trying to keep your mentality down and just really understanding who you are as a person and knowing me. I'm trying to get ground balls and weak contact, and that's basically all it is.
Max, we talked to a couple of you guys yesterday about who you would prefer to face, and I know it didn't really matter, but can you put into words what it means to be starting a game one here in front of your home crowd versus what could have been on the road?
Yeah, I mean, you got a little taste of that in the NLDS, where the difference in the atmosphere and the feel of having fans back was incredible, and you can definitely feel the energy was kind of injected into this team, and to be able to experience, kind of like a rematch of the Dodger series. Now we're going to be able to play in front of our fans here, and then also in LA. It's going to be obviously the same guys on the field, but you can probably tell a little bit more of energy with fans and screaming and normal playoff atmosphere.
Max, Will Smith had some struggles like you did earlier in the season for various reasons. What have you liked or admired about how he's handled the season and what he's done down the stretch like you have?
He's never lost faith in who he is as a pitcher and who he is as a player. He's really been going after guys, and I feel like he's really been on the attack. He's attacking guys, he's going after them. You can see a little bit of, his fastball velocity has been up a little bit. He's been locating his breaking pitches really well. And I think that sometimes, it's a long year. Guys go through tough stretches and guys goes on rolls. And right now you're seeing him throw the ball extremely well with conviction and purpose. And, the swings that guys are taking off him, you can really tell that they're not picking it up well. So, he's in a really good spot and, a big part of this team.
What are some of the texts you're going to get from friends tonight going to say, but the ones that are still Dodgers fans?
No, the ones I've already gotten. Just, it's not the first time, so you know to expect. It's a lot of the, rooting for you, but also want the Dodgers to do well. So it's kind of just up in the air 50-50, but it'll be a lot of fun to be able to go out there and just compete, to get back out there, get it back on the mound, and just go to battle with these guys behind me and in the clubhouse. It's a lot of fun. We're excited, and honestly, can't wait for tomorrow.
How different does this playoff run feel for you compared to last year, just with the experience that you have and kind of knowing now what to expect? Like, there's always butterflies, but do you feel more calm going in, and where have you seen the growth from this year to last year?
Last year was a sprint where, the season started, and next thing you know, it was the playoffs, and we were just kind of flying by the seat of our pants. We were just next thing after another, where it was, find out we're going to spring training, and then it was quick turnaround into the season, and then you look up and it's playoffs and going to the bubble. So I think it was we were just kind of taking it day by day, whereas this year it really felt like a normal season where it was more of a marathon. You know, you have your different stretches of the year where you start off one way and the team, hits a little bit of rut, and then you have to figure out how to get through that adversity. And I felt like this year that we understand who we are as a team and players a little bit more. I think you have more of a sample size, so you can definitely use that to our advantage. And I think we're pretty confident in what we can do as a club.
Anything else?
Yeah.
This may sound so simplistic, but does a playoff inning or two feel different from regular season innings? I asked because last night's broadcast, Ron Darling said something about a playoff inning feels like two at a time. Does it feel that way to you, or after experience, is it just, again, like regular season game, only more intense?
I think it's more of the mental exertion, where whether you're in the game or you're on the bench, you're mentally just you're stuck. You're basically just giving everything that you have physically, mentally, to the point where after a game you're pretty much drained, emotionally drained. And I think that's kind of the biggest difference, is even when you're not in the game, you're still locked in and you're still exerting that energy, and you just feel maybe a little bit more drained afterwards. But I would say that would probably be the biggest difference.
Snit, now that Max Fried is official, how comforting is it to have two guys you can comfortably put in that, number one role?
Well, it's really good, and I feel really good about all three of the guys that we're going to be featuring. But it's a significant difference than a year ago when we started this tournament. So I feel really good about where Max is in the season, where Charlie is, and what he's done throughout his career. I think it's a really good feeling to know we have two guys like that we could choose.
Snit, the rosters aren't the same as 18 or last year, obviously, but a lot of the core guys remain for both of you teams. How does the familiarity just play a role here?
Yeah, no, I think we're very familiar with this team and understand how deep they are, how strong they are. They're relentless. They're just so, I know offensively, these guys, it's just the at-bats they put up are something else. They just keep coming after you. And they're pitching so deep, and it's a really good club. Obviously, so are we. So, but like I say, when we're doing advancing and all, I think there's probably things that our people will dig up, but I think the guys, they know pretty much going in what they're in for, and have faced all these guys numerous times, and so, it should be good.
Snit, do you know what you're going to do with the rest of, will Charlie go two, or have you decided on that yet?
We'll probably announce that this afternoon.
Does it make it more challenging or a little bit easier going up against a team that you are so familiar with in the playoffs?
No, it's always challenging to go up against this team. You kidding me? It's no matter how familiar you are with this club, it's challenging when you have a 3-game series against them. Yeah, I don't. It's all It doesn't matter if we'd played the Giants. I mean, unbelievable challenges both those clubs are. They're so good, and they didn't each win over 100 games by fluke. I mean, they're really good teams, and so it's just got to come down to we got to play well. You got to get big hits. We got to pitch well. I mean, it's just the whole thing. You got to play good for 10 days or 9 days or whatever this thing goes.
Snit, you go back to Tuesday night and how big of a situation that was when you were able to pull Arcia back, and when you build your roster here for a 7-game series, what are you going to be thinking about? And knowing that there may be a bullpen game, is it important to make sure you have enough position?
No, yeah, I think after experiencing that, I have a different feel now for the roster and that. And if if we do have a bullpen game, knowing that you're going to be hitting guys, earlier in that game, so I think that's going to have something to do with how we construct the roster for this series.
To piggyback on that just a little bit, Dansby Swanson lead off. It worked certainly for you guys, but what are some of the challenges to now how you think through figuring out
Yeah,
things
I
with
have been
Soler?
last couple days. You know, I haven't arrived at anything yet. I mean, I like it. I like him up there. You know, I mean, we were kind of hit with a situation that we really weren't prepared for, obviously. So it's different, and I'm confident in whoever we put up there. If Dansby's up there, he'll do fine. He'll be, you know, he profiles as that, you know, kind of back in the day type leadoff hitter. Now it's a little bit different, but you know, we were dealt a hand we weren't expected, so we're going to have to adjust again. So we'll be fine.
You spoke yesterday about the 3 days being especially good for your bullpen. I'm wondering about the starting pitching also in the context of after the game last night, Dave Roberts said that the plan was for Scherzer still to go game one.
Yeah, well, I mean, that won't surprise me. I mean, that's like kind of probably like a side for him right there and take a day off. And, you know, this guy's just a different animal. I mean, they say he's a Hall of Famer. And those guys are, man, they're cut from a different cloth than the normal guys. So it won't surprise me at all if he shows up and is on the mound.